Good morning or good afternoon, as the case may be. Let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Suranjita Mukherjee. I'm the Deputy Head of Department for the Accounting, Finance and Economics Department within the Business School here at Bournemouth University. This particular video has been created to provide you with an opportunity to learn more about the courses that we have here at the Accounting, Finance and Economics Department. Um, and to hopefully answer some of those questions that you may have. Should we be unable to answer that, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. I would be more than happy to help you with any concerns that you have. I look forward to interacting with you, but I look forward to even seeing many of you here on campus at Bournemouth University in the near future. So our courses, they aim to provide a number of different aspects. The first thing is that we are highly geared, being in accounting, finance, and economics, we are highly geared towards delivering what the professions require, which again goes back to what I've been saying. Our strong links with accreditation bodies is extremely important to us. The second thing that we ensure is that we make sure that our curriculum obviously has the right subject specialism, but also helps us in nurturing the learning styles that we have. Or there are so many varied learning styles that students have, so we make sure the content is student centered, so the way we deliver it is embeds that ethos in its nature of delivery. Most of what we want to deliver is to ensure that our students achieve employability, or the skills required for employment. And we try to nurture our students to be active in gaining a work placement. There is a lot of research that suggests that students who are able to do a placement while studying are much better graduates. They're much more sought after graduates. And so we are constantly encouraging our students to consider and to apply and to succeed in getting a work placement. We have a 30-week work placement. Many students actually spend the entire year doing their placement, and we try to support them as much as possible. Obviously, as mentioned over here, we have an international focus, both where it concerns our staff members, the knowledge that they bring in, the cultural dimensions that they bring in into the classroom. We have an international diverse set of students coming from all over the world, and this also increases the exposure that students have to global contexts related to not only their subject, but also the styles of communication, the way to kind of talk to individuals of different cultures, and how to interact with them. And this makes our graduates ready for the workplace even before they graduate. There's a study abroad opportunities, which I'll discuss as well. And of course, most of our curriculum has an international focus. We have as I mentioned, maximum number of exemptions from our accounting bodies, and those exemptions are mentioned on this particular slide. So the ACCA, we've got 9 exemptions. Most of the exemptions that we don't have from the accounting bodies are usually exemptions that are available only to professionals, so those who have had 3 years of work experience in the industry. That's where we're coming from. I'm particularly proud of this accreditation, the AACSB accreditation. It's worth noting that only 5% of business schools globally achieve this particular accreditation. It's extremely difficult, and having gone through the process for the last 5 years, I can attest to why it is difficult. This accreditation I'm proud of, not because it gives us a badge, but because it reminds me of the process that we went through. I'm extremely proud of my colleagues and myself. Over the last 5 years, we've been able to make sure that the department has processes in place, has the right, has taken into account the different learning styles that students are exposed to. And what we've developed is a pledge. We've Normally the ACCA accreditation asks you to make a pledge of what your graduates stand for. And we have made a pledge of four things, which are generally related to the following. Um, the pledges are usually related to subject specialism. So our students will have the subject specialism. They will have the ability to communicate and work in diverse groups. They will be able to do research at an advanced level, and that they will understand what responsible business practices mean. And to achieve this, or to demonstrate that our graduates have had that exposure, we've had to articulate as well as evidence that our students were introduced to those skills at level 4, which is our first year. They were then reinforced at level 5, which is our second year, and then assessed at level 6. And this complete exercise means that the students have been exposed to it at different years. We've been able to assess them at the final stage. And throughout, they've got this feed forward mechanism that helps them develop these particular skills. And when they go to their assessment, what the tutors are then doing is ensuring that they have the best ability to fulfill these assessments and to excel in these assessments. And to do that, they have a range of exercises that help students achieve this. And the feed forward that is provided to the students throughout the process is exemplary. And this is what the accreditation is telling people from outside, from external sources, is that the school has been able to achieve this process whereby we have introduced, reinforced, and then been able to successfully assess our students who have successfully achieved those goals that we've set for our graduates. And that means that almost every tutor has had to engage in that process. So this is a great stamp for our teaching quality, for our level of involvement with our students, for our understanding of the different learning abilities, for our understanding of the skills that make up a graduate that is ready for the world of work. So it's an extremely important badge that I've personally gone through this journey myself with my colleagues. I'm extremely proud that we've achieved this. As I mentioned before, these are some of our partners in accounting. As you can see, we've got a plethora of different, colleagues that we've worked with. FW Wealth Management, they're a local wealth management company, extremely active, and they're working with wealth managers across the globe, across the UK, in developing a bespoke program that allows our graduates to actually go into placement with wealth management companies, because a lot of these wealth management companies are run by older gentlemen, or and they're really keen on developing young talent. So this is the sort of thing that we engage with local organizations, but then we scale them forward in terms of the application of it for our students. So let me just take you through what our courses look like. So at the moment, what we're offering for 2021 and onwards is a BA Honours in Accounting. And this is the program that will give you the maximum number of exemptions from the accounting bodies. We then have an integrated Masters in Accounting and Finance. We have also a BA Honours in Accounting and Finance, so the MacFin on one side and the BA Honours Accounting and Finance. We have a BA Honours Finance as well as a BSc Honours Economics. And we have a 3-year full-time mode as well as a 4-year with the optional placement available. You will get a lot of information directly from the website itself. So I'm not going to go through the basic information about fees, etc. I would hope that that's something that you would get from our websites itself. Let me go into why this particular, these courses, what are unique to these courses compared to perhaps other universities. Our experience with the ACSB has really taught us that it's not necessarily just the subject specialism, but it's about how you deliver that subject specialism. What is the learning that students are gaining in that process? What is the assessment that they're actually going to fulfill? Does this assessment help enhance their ability to apply this particular topic, this particular subject? And that's what we've tried to apply for when we had the program review a couple of years ago. This is what we wanted to achieve. We wanted to achieve, or we wanted to design a program that would allow students a lot of scope for applicability and then hopefully the right skills to apply in the industry. So at the moment, what we expect our students on BA Honours Accounting, BA Honours Accounting and Finance, BA Honours Finance, is that they've got 6 units in the first year, and the students all of the students on these 3 programs take exactly the same 6 units. And the reason for this is that we feel that students should be given the opportunity to actually explore the different facets of accounting, finance, law, economics, and quantitative analysis to be able to really understand where their passions and motivations lie. Because I think that at 18, that is perhaps a difficult judgment to make. So we give students enough opportunity and exposure to the different subject areas to help them make up their minds, to gain that extra bit of maturity before they can make that choice. So although you may start off on a BA Honours Accounting, if you're able to justify your motivations to us as program leaders, we can then transfer you on to either BA Honours Accounting and Finance or BA Honours Finance. So how do we actually deliver our units? There are different modes and methods, but the typical variety is that you usually have the undergraduate level a lecture, a seminar, or a workshop, and they can be 1 hour each, so 1 hour lecture, 1 hour seminar, 1 hour workshop, or they could be 2 hours lecture, 1 hour workshop, or 2 hours seminars and 1 hour lecture. It depends on how the unit tutor wants to style it and what's really important for the subject specialism. But the contact time in class is 3 hours a week for every unit that the students are taking, and they usually take 3 units in a term. The balance is always between theory and practice. We're trying to develop our students' employability skills. And it's all about students being able to manage their own learning. And we do adopt a variety of different assessment methods. And this can include a range of, we've started using posters where students provide information through infographics, presentations with presentation slides, with embedded videos in them, YouTube productions, and then of course we have the traditional essay reports and exams as well. And a lot of our accredited units actually require an examination, so you will find that in accounting and finance especially, you might have a little more of exams compared to perhaps other types of assessment, but we try to vary it along, so where you have about 50 to 30% in other types of assessment, depending upon the unit that you're studying. There is an emphasis of both individual and group work, because developing those skills to be able to work within a group is extremely important. Now, the next bit is about kind of emphasizing why employability is important. And if you look at this survey from the Global University Employability Survey, it emphasizes that for business and corporate roles, employability skills itself is very, very important. So some key data now related to the programs. 90% of our students have said that they've got an opportunity to work with students in their course. And this is vitally important for students to be able to demonstrate when they're going in for job interviews. 90% of respondents have claimed that they've been able to contact staff. And this is a testament to the commitment from our staff members to engage with students as much as possible. 85 and 90% have reported that they have found IT and library resources, respectively, um, have supported in their learning. The proportion of students achieving 2-1s or first good degrees are 82.9%. Proportions of graduate in employment is 94.5%, the sector average being 93.9%, and the graduate starting salaries being 22,000, which matches the sector average. So this is all quite important for students, obviously. They are able to engage with other students, they're able to engage with staff members and get their support. There's library IT support. They're able to get good degrees, good jobs at the end of it with a decent salary. And I think that most of you are looking for these qualities in any institution that you want to come and study in. We also have strongly advised our students to pursue a placement, a 30-week placement. And to support them, we've got a placement support officer who works with them from the second year itself, where they develop their CV with the placement support officer, where they go for advice in terms of how to interview. Our careers also come in right from the first year, actually. They support a lot of our delivery for our students, which emphasizes on students developing their employability skills right from the first year, so that when they come to the placement support officer, they come with a plethora of skills already identified, and then all they're learning is how to market themselves and how to kind of sell those skills to potential employers. When they're out on placement, and these are the sorts of placements that students have been successful in achieving and going to, when they're out on placement, we don't leave them on their own. We have a placement development officer who comes and visits them. So they visit the potential employers as well as the employers as well as the students, and they kind of gain an insight on what the requirements of the students. So they come and feed that back to us. So if it's about they need some more information from the university about some particular aspect, we get to hear that and we get to help our students. But also, they're really very good at bringing back information from these employers as to what skills they want our students to further develop. And as I mentioned before, we have incorporated that. So years ago, we were told, that we need specific skills and with pivot tables, and we did that with our students through Excel. So it's an ongoing process, and every person who's involved in this process plays a part, whether that's the student, whether that's the placement support officer, or whether that's the placement development officer. Everybody is involved in making this experience of working within BU engaging both for the students as well as for members of the staff. We work very much like one family. We do also have study abroad options. We do have a number of international students, and some of them like this opportunity to kind of study across different cultures. So we've got opportunities in Australia, Canada, Europe. Some European opportunities, for example, have been in Italy. We've got a number of students in Spain and Italy, for example. We've got developed further relationships in Japan, China, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam as well. And there are certain amounts of sourcing or funding available for students. So if it's something that you really are keen on in the second year, in your second semester, you have the opportunity to explore our partner institutions in other countries and gain that global exposure. This is an example of the types of opportunities that we have. A number of members of staff, 4 members of staff were successful in gaining a grant for an Erasmus Plus project. And because of this project, we have liaised with about 14 different universities across Europe. And the idea is we come together and deliver special case studies for students over a 5-day conference. And we do this every year. And we've been quite successful in gaining these grants every 5 years. So this is an ongoing project that our students are exposed to. And the beauty of actually being able to work on case studies with you students from across different cultural backgrounds and countries has been tremendous. The response from our students has been, absolutely, they've loved being engaged in this sort of diverse environment. As I mentioned, there are exemptions from our professional bodies, so I'm not going to go through this again. Um, this particular recognition was available to our students. They've recently, removed this aspect of it, but our accounting and taxation students, we used to have a program on accounting and taxation, and our students were actually eligible to directly sit on the Chartered Institute of Taxation's final exams, which only qualified accountants, lawyers, and tax technicians were allowed. Now, the reason why I've kept this on is to kind of demonstrate to you that although we don't have that program anymore, for various logistic reasons and resourcing as well as demand, it shows that we've got um, the curriculum in place, we have the staff in place, we have the motivation and power in place to make these units, these specialisms count from an accreditation body to come and be able for our, to say that our students are qualified enough at this stage to sit for this for a final exam is a great accolade. It's so unfortunate that they've now removed this requirement entirely. Um, these are again a reminder of the maximum exemptions that we have. I'm sorry that these are perhaps repetitions. Um, We also do have a certificate in finance and accounting and business, a CFAB, which the ICAEW produce as an extra incentive for students. So what we're doing is that this is a value-added service that we provide for our students. A particular tutor who has very strong links with the ICAEW provides bespoke tuition outside normal tuition of subjects related to their program, where they train them or he trains them to sit this particular exam. If they're successful in sitting this exam, they get the CFAB. And not every institution is allowed to send their students for this exam. Bournemouth University is just one of a very few number of universities that allow their students to sit for the CFAB exam, or ICAEW allows them to sit for the CFAB exam. It's a great international recognition to have even before you graduate. So even before you have your degree, you have an internationally recognized qualification. And about 80 to 85% of students who do sit the exam are successful at the end to get the CFAB certificate. As I said, ACSB accredited, 5%. The top 5% of business schools achieve this accreditation, and our pledge is that our students are going to be effective communicators both in the written and oral form. They will be good researchers, effective researchers. They will be employable, and they will have subject knowledge, and by employable they will understand responsible business practice. Our research is very much oriented towards creating an impact on society. And here we just have two examples of it. One was a tax system, a reformation of a tax system, which allowed certain parts of certain countries or certain regions to actually revamp their VAT system to allow for more incomes coming in, which were then used by their governments for more development of the region. And so this was a very strong impact case in the last research excellence framework exercise. The other one is also about economic modeling. So we have a number of professors in the area of economics. And this one was particularly about how, again, the development of the regions in Namibia and Azerbaijan was actually what areas need to kind of develop further to have impact on the economy. We are very strong in a number of different areas at present. We are very strong on trade. research in the area of trade. We are very strong at the moment on food and food technology. We have professors working with researchers in a diverse areas related to food and nutrition. We have very strong research in the area of corporate governance and in accounting and auditing. And this will all be part of the research excellence framework that we are going to actually go through in the next few months. This might be important to you. 90%, which is about 94% taken from the statistics before, are either in employment or in full-time study. Most of them are able to get graduate jobs, and the average starting salary is usually 30,300. Now, please remember some of these statistics may differ because we are talking about the entire all the programs together, not just the accounting and finance programs. These are the sorts of graduate jobs that our students have been able to get. Obviously, you can see there's a great range of it, which is fantastic because students have been able to achieve excellence in different areas. So be that or being an auditor, being an economist, being a finance analyst, or being a maths teacher, they're all extremely important professions, and I'm extremely proud to see my students working in such a diverse number of areas. These are some of our recent graduate employers. You can see there's big names over here from HSBC, Ernst & Young, which is EY actually, NHS, Canon, KPMG. So as you can see, Bournemouth is a wonderful place to live in. I have worked in different institutions across the UK. Certainly from a living perspective, Bournemouth has a wide variety. If you're a beach person, of course, you have the beach. But equally, if you like walks, there are wonderful walks here. You've got the New Forest at your doorstep. And it's just a wonderful environment, a secure environment where you can actually enjoy the most of university life without compromising on what is really essential, which is developing your ability to learn a subject and being able to communicate your ideas with confidence. So any questions, as I mentioned before, please do get back to us, and I really look forward to interacting with you in some capacity, but more importantly, I really look forward to welcoming you here at Bournemouth University in the near future. Thank you so much.